As far as you getting in trouble though, like, can you detail like what you got involved with that put
And
you in jail and
I
the
mean,
time?
for me, I always like I'm a hustler, so I've always sold drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just smart. Like like it was like the first charge was the most serious. You know what I'm saying? Like the first charge was '09. It was right before I had my first child. That was the most serious. I was supposed to be getting out now. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like seriously, it was trying to give me
but a
10
long
years, but it
time.
was my first charge. So I took a plea, did like 3 years of probation. You know what I'm saying? Then I went to Pennsylvania one time, got a DUI for having marijuana in my system.
Yeah.
It was a roadblock. I then had one knee drunk. That was in like 2012. I was on house arrest for that because I was living in Baltimore. Um, I got it was just like small shit. Like one time I dropped off a pound or like a pound to my boy, right? My one of my best friends.
Yeah.
I had niggas in Baltimore hustling for me, and then I had him. He was going to Morgan, and he was hustling for me. So I dropped the joint off to him. I dropped the whole pound off to him. We busted down. We do everything. We got get in the motherfucking car, cause my homegirl, she had me waiting and shit. I had like probably like a 7 or something, yo. I had a 7 or so. It was like right before 420, and I told my nigga, I was like, "Yo, we gonna see who sells the most weed this week." You know what I'm saying? Like whoever wins.
Yeah.
And I had like incentives for niggas. Like I was running it like a real business and shit. So I was like gonna give somebody a prize or something, like some free shit. You know what I'm saying? Like a free half or whatever, man. We was burning weed. You know what I'm saying? Like I was running through a lot of weed and shit. And then fucking what's it called? Okay, I'm in a rental, and as soon as I get out the motherfucking out from Morgan and shit, I get pulled over. Motherfucker, I didn't think they was going. I was like, this ain't my shit, you know what I'm saying? And then they was like, we're gonna bring the dogs out. So I was like, fuck it, they're not gonna go in the trunk. They go in the trunk, and I had a 7 on me, or like almost a half. It was I can't remember. It was like 10 grams. But that was when I got luckily. It was when Maryland had passed that law. So I went in. You
So
know
they
what I'm
took it
saying?
away?
Yeah, I mean, they threw the charge away. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? They
okay.
threw the charge away, but he still got locked up, still shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You
Oh,
still go through that, and you gotta go to court, find out. That's when I was like, something has to stop because something has to change. Cause my dad showed up at court, and I ain't talked to my dad in years.
wow.
He showed up at court. I thought he was at court for his shit. You know what I'm saying? He's like, nigga, I'm up here for you, and I'm like, what the fuck? And he like, look, they're gonna try. Fuck you, dog. Get a do not let this public defender, like, do you trust me? Like, he's real heavy into law, like
Yeah.
common law and all that shit. So, I'm like, all right, cool. So he had my whole paperwork, he had everything out, and we waited all the way till we were the last people in there. The judge was like, who are you? Are you a lawyer? He was like, no, I'm not a lawyer. I'm defending him though. And he was like, oh, we threw that case out in the morning. And I was like, God is speaking to me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, God is speaking to me. I got to do this music shit. I got to stop this shit and do this music shit. You know what I'm saying? And I went to Atlanta, and it was like, I'm not doing nothing out here. I'm not going to do nothing to take me away from why I feel like I'm sent here. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like my purpose, I know my purpose is to speak to people. So it's like, I'm not doing nothing. Like, for a season of life, I'm not trying to get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? But, I got locked up in fucking Atlanta for some bullshit. Child support suspended my license. I didn't even know, but they said it was by accident. So they reinstated it the day after.
Oh, okay.
They gave me a court case 3 years later. I had wasn't even living at the same fucking place anymore. I had a warrant for a year and a half. That's why last year was so crazy for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a crazy fucking journey. You know what I'm saying? It's been a crazy journey, but things like that. But I wouldn't consider that really being in trouble because it was, you know what I'm saying? With some things just, I feel like everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything propels me. That shit propelled the fuck out of me to become this great. You know what I'm saying? All these different things that I've gone through are propelling me to, like, just become, become greater. You know what I'm saying? All these little things that happen. But, I mean, I've sold guns. I mean, I've done a lot of shit on the street. I don't even want to get into all of it, but, you know what I'm saying? I mean, people who know me know what I've done.
As far as the street life though, like what is the hardest thing that you saw that make you be like, oh, okay, this is my time to get out now. Like, you're a father now, So you're not trying to be in that life
The
forever.
music,
Like,
I mean, music ain't nothing I seen. I mean, I've been through a lot of shit. Nothing that was gonna stop me from running the streets except for music.
but as far as the street though, we all know getting involved with drugs and all of that, guns and all of that is a part of it. Like, what is the hardest thing that you saw related to that life? I'm not, I'm not
people
telling you to
dying.
tell me like like the name of the people,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like, as
people-
far as you seeing stuff, what is the most like troublesome stuff that you see?
People dying. You know what I'm saying? Like people, you like just getting involved. Cause the thing about the streets is the streets don't love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and motherfuckers, you can't trust really anybody. You know what I'm saying? Especially because you're dealing with thieves, robbers.
Yeah.
You think they won't rob you. You think that's your man, but as soon as he needs to rob you, he's gonna rob you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and especially when you're dealing with people like you really don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I need it, I'm gonna do what I have to do. If I got kids to feed, you know what I'm saying? I got felonies, I can't go get a job. I'm a rob, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it just is what it is. Like, the world is, you know what I'm saying, weird. When you come from a place where, like, you don't have, you're gonna have to find a way to get it, you know what I'm saying? And it's like the jungle, you know what I'm saying? It's the animal kingdom, and, you know what I'm saying, the nigga with the most guns and the most men, he really wins, you know what I'm saying? And then there's niggas who, like, don't give a fuck about that, and they'll go around just killing any and everything, you know what I'm saying? Because they gotta do what they have to do, and they're not afraid of, a nigga coming trying to kill them because they know what they're willing to do. And I think, I mean, of course, it's just people dying and then seeing people's, like, families get fucked up off drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, my uncle, you know what I'm saying, he was heavy on drugs. My grandfather was alcoholic. And that shit did a lot of damage to our family. You know what I'm saying? And things like that, that's, like, when you know you're selling a drug that's destroying the fucking community, but that's how you feeding your family and you don't give a fuck about nobody else. So it's like, that shit in itself is just, it's heartbreaking, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's heartbreaking. Like, that's not who I am, you know what I'm saying? Like, truth be told, it's not who I am. I'm a peaceful dude. But when you gotta do what you gotta do, you gotta do what you gotta do. And then a lot of niggas want to prove themselves, you know what I'm saying? Because it's the only way, when you in that subculture of, like that kind of life, it's like, I gotta find a way to be good at something. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be really good at robbing niggas. I'm gonna be really good at selling drugs. Or I'm gonna be really good at pimping. Or I'm gonna be really good at killing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna have to find a way, because that's your culture. You don't feel like there's anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, it's like in high school, you're gonna find a way to, if you wanna be popular, you're gonna find a way to be popular. You know what I'm saying? And then in the streets, you're gonna find a way to be that nigga. You know what I'm saying? So,
is there any way? Is there any reason why you never got involved with the, like, selling cokes and all of that? Because you make more money doing that, right?
I did, but I like selling weed.
Oh, because lesser charges when you get.
Well, because I did weed, and I mean, it wasn't even that. It was never that. It was, my friends was, you know what I'm saying, like my friends did, you know what I'm saying, like, they sold the coke and the heroin and shit. I sold the weed, you know what I'm saying?
Because I'm trying to understand people's mindset as far as, like, being in an environment. Like, how the way people process that.
You know where? Okay, if you know people who do coke, they sell coke. If you know people who do heroin, they sell heroin. If you know people who do, I knew people who smoked a lot of weed, so it was easy for me to sell weed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was very easy because the people I was around smoked weed. I wasn't really around that many people who were doing coke and all that other shit. You know what I'm saying? But cause it's like, you know one, you know them all. So if you hang around junkies or you know junkies, then, you know what I'm saying, it's whatever the market is asking for. You know what I'm saying? It's just like business. You know what I'm saying? It's business. So whatever the market is in, and weed was the market for me.